when demons become saints and priests fight on the side of villains. As public good and social well-being takes a backseat in the government's agenda, and the government makes blunder after blunder, we have come to the realization that we are slowly but surely losing a country. Today, we wish to confine ourselves to just 3 critical issues, namely, the government's apparent and ongoing mishandling of the global outbreak of the coronavirus. 2, the continued disregard of the Constitution of Kenya and undermining of the sovereign rights of citizens as manifested in the illegitimate takeover of the affairs of the Nairobi City County. And 3, the charade that the Building Bridges initiative is unfolding to be. On the first and most urgent matter of the coronavirus, we join all Kenyans who have expressed shock at the recklessness with which the government is handling the growing public health crisis posed by the coronavirus. We do not see any evidence or preparedness or a government actively involved in protecting its citizens from potential harm. While our public health institutions are in perpetual disinvestment, the government continues to expose our people to the highest possible risks of contracting the coronavirus by keeping our airspace open for all without any precaution. Without prejudice to the people of China, we wish to condemn in the strongest terms possible the ill-advised decision to allow hundreds of Chinese nationals to continue jetting in and out of Kenya without adequate health checks and or quarantine. The government advisory for the 239 passengers who jetted into the country to self-quarantine for 14 days is laughable as it is tragic. It is not lost to us that the government has refused to respond to the pleas of Kenyan citizens in China, and especially the students in Wuhan, to be flown home. Our government has failed its citizens abroad and is now failing the citizens at home by its reckless conduct. In the wake of this catastrophic failure of judgment, we are concerned that Kenya may become the epicenter of the virus, resulting in many other major airlines reducing, suspending, or altogether stopping flights into Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi. We are saying this because by the government's own admission, there is absolutely little or no preparedness. They are telling us of 11 beds for the whole country. Yet there is little or no monitoring of people coming in, and in particular from China, where this virus has peaked. We urge the government to close Kenyan airspace and border points to all flights and passengers originating from China. We urge the government to establish mandatory quarantine facilities at all international border points. We urge the government to organize and finance immediate evacuation of Kenyans stranded in China, and especially the students in Wuhan, and on arrival to hold them in quarantine centers within their homeland until cleared. That's what other nations are doing, and we have seen it. Because you contract the virus whether it's your national or whether it's somebody else. The manner in which the national government has attempted to take over the affairs of the Nairobi City County, we find and declare the process to be unprocedural, unconstitutional, and an affront on the sovereign right of the people of Nairobi. We urge the government, the national government, to act within the law and to resist the temptation to use the current unique challenges the county of Nairobi is facing as an excuse to overthrow the constitution and undermine the popular will of the people of Nairobi. In other words, we are saying it doesn't matter what the crisis Nairobi is facing. The law has to be followed. Due process has to be followed in any takeover, which has not been done. Finally, on the matter of the Building Bridges initiative, NARC Kenya is concerned that 3 months since the much publicized launch of the BBI report at Bomas of Kenya, no copies whatsoever have been given or distributed or availed to Kenyans to enable informed engagement and participation. And you will recall the promise in Bomas was that the copies will be availed to the people. Yet citizens are expected to endorse the report without question and in an unexplained hurry. You'd think the world is coming to an end. We remind the champions of BBI that the constitutional provisions on public participation are not merely cosmetic, but are intended to give citizens a voice as a first critical step in enabling meaningful participation. Several issues need urgent attention if BBI is to claim any legitimacy. One of them being the distribution or availing the copies to Kenyans. The town hall meetings that precede BBI public rallies are by invitation only and therefore remain a closed affair. The voices of those not invited are missing out in the public endorsement rallies, because we think these rallies are just for a chorus of public endorsement where contrary opinion is unwelcome. In our representative democracy, Kenyans still have reserved for themselves the right to directly participate in public affairs, which is a fundamental principle in our constitution. To this end, we laud the citizens of Nyeri who, in the Nyeri town hall meeting this week, demanded copies of the BBI report before any deliberations. These citizens were actually heeding the call in Article 3 of the Constitution to uphold and defend the Constitution. Once again, we remind the two BBI proponents to adhere to the letter and spirit of our Constitution. The BBI public rallies so far have given the impression that unless if you support wholesale the BBI, one is not welcome and is considered an enemy. The recent Narok rally took the intolerance a notch higher by the ethnic profiling openly advocated by a section of leaders. The fact that the BBI drivers present at that meeting did not seek to set the record straight right there at the rally it's not only unhelpful but also suggests that they were at peace or endorsed those divisive and unconstitutional utterances. We are aware that the ODM political party authored a letter a day after cautioning a member. This is a case of too little, too late. They needed to have done it right there at the meeting. As matters stand, majority of those who attended the rally may never know that anyone ever disapproved of the intolerance displayed on that day. They most likely will think this is the new normal. Some key proponents of BBI have called for referendum by June this year. We're telling them in case it has escaped their attention, the Constitution only provides for two methods of its amendment: parliamentary and popular initiative. If it's a parliamentary initiative, we need to be told. If it's a popular initiative, we are all aware that the million signatures required are yet to be collected. They are yet to be verified by IEBC, if at all, before the process can be released for debate by the county assemblies. Therefore, talking of a referendum by June is a pipe dream. We as Kenyans refuse to be blindfolded and bulldozed into supporting what we do not know about, or to be excluded from debating or participating in matters that affect us. It is every individual's right to be part of the process, irrespective of whether you support the process. As Kenyans and as NARC Kenya, we demand no less. We want to thank you. That's the end of the press statement. If you have any clarification, although I think it was very clear. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think of the rumors that maybe the economic side could be the reason why deciding to have access at their flight to Nairobi? And secondly, with regard to what you said, the council meetings that just be a closed affair. Yesterday the team was in your home county. Why did you maybe think about joining them and telling those driving it to their home? Maybe you talk about that.
I've already said that those town hall meetings are by invitation. So whoever is organizing invites the leaders aligned to them. I'm certainly not aligned to the administration in Kirinyaga. And I have not been invited anywhere in Central because they know my sentiments, which actually shows morbid fear for contrary opinion. And it's not just me. There are many, many leaders who are not invited in many places. And then the endorsement rallies. Like a rally can actually pass a resolution, quickly pass the resolution. That's why now there is this method of the validation in the town hall meetings. It is okay to do that because you can call your supporters and endorse. But what about those who are not your supporters? What mechanism has the BBI team put in place for those of us outside the town hall meetings to be able to present our views? And what views are Kenyans going to present if they do not know what is in the report? Some of us have read the report from our smartphones. Does every Kenyan have a smartphone or airtime to go reading the reports? Those are the questions. Now, Kenya-China ties, your guess is as good as mine. It looks like we are beholden to China. At this juncture, it is reported in the press, and I believe it, that the Chinese ambassador said we should expect more flights from China. The audacity that he has to announce that, like Kenya is owned by China, is a telltale of the relationship between China and Kenya. It appears to be master and servant. We need to rescue ourselves from this sorry state of affairs. Ebu niseme kama NARC Kenya tuko na hofu ya kwamba serikali yetu juzi ilionyesha wazi imeruhusu ndege kutoka Uchina kuja hapa na kuleta watu kutoka China, na wanaruhusiwa kuingia kwa nchi bila kukaguliwa kikamilifu kama wako na virusi vya coronavirus. Ukiangalia nchi zingine ziko na mpango, watu wakitoka nchi ambayo iko na virusi, iko na watu wengi wagonjwa, hao watu wanawekwa quarantine, wanawekwa kando kwa nyumba ambayo imedhibitiwa na madaktari, kwa muda wa siku zisizopunguza 14, ndivyo wajue hakika hao watu hawana virusi wanaweza kuambukiza Wakenya. Lakini juzi tumeona ndege ikija na tumeona mawaziri wakisema hao watu wa China ati wakiingia hapa nchini ni kama wameombwa kwa hiari yao wasitembee kwa siku 14. Jiulize, nani aliwabeba kuwapeleka kwa manyumba zao? Si ni Wakenya na mataksi? Na kama ni gari zao, si madriver ni Wakenya? Nani anawapikia? Hiyo ni kusema ni kama serikali inatuweka wazi tuambukizwe na hizi virusi bila kuwa na mpangilio wa kuzuia virusi visiingie Kenya. Na ukiangalia ile matayarisho serikali imefanya, tumeambiwa kwa sasa wako na vitanda 11 za wale wanaweza kuwa wameambukizwa. Hii virusi ikiingia Kenya, vile tumeona imeingia nchi zingine, inapata watu wengi. Mtu mmoja anaweza ambukiza kijiji kizima. Ukienda kanisa, ukienda wapi, tumeona Korea ya South Korea ni watu tu walienda kanisa na sasa virusi vimeenea huko sawa. Sasa Kenya tukijiweka bila kujivijari na hatuna uwezo mwingi kama nchi zingine vile zinaweka mambo ya kuzuia virusi na kuangalia wale wameambukizwa tayari, ni kusema Wakenya wako hatarini na serikali imesahau ya kwamba kazi yake ni kulinda Mkenya, kulinda maisha na afya ya Mkenya. Mambo ya BBI, hofu yetu tangu ripoti itolewe kule Bomas of Kenya mwaka jana, Rais alitangaza hadharani ya kwamba watatoa kopi za kutosha Wakenya waweze kujisomea, na ndivyo Wakenya waweze kutoa maoni yao. Sasa tuharakishwa na town hall meetings ambazo zinaitwa marafiki ya wale wanaitana. Tuharakishwa kwa mikutano ya kukubaliana na BBI ambayo si kila Mkenya anaenda, na hakuna mpangilio ya kupanga ile kamati ya BBI ichukue maono ya wale wako na maono tofauti na hawakubaliani na BBI. Ni kama tumewekwa bandage kwa macho tusione ni wapi tunaenda na tukimbizwa haraka. Ni jukumu la kila Mkenya kukataa mambo yote ambayo haiambatani na katiba. Na ndio tunatoa kofia kwa watu wa Nyeri, wale walikuwa kwa BBI town hall meeting. Wale walikataa kuendelea mbele, wakasema leta copies kwanza tujisomee. Hata zile katiba tumekuwa naso mijadala ya katiba mara mbili. Ile ya 205 ambayo Wakenya walikataa kwa wingi. Ile ya 2010 ambayo sasa ni katiba yetu. Copies lazima zipatiwe Wakenya, wanajisomea, na maono lazima itolewe, sio kwa chama. Hata mtu binafsi akitaka kwenda, kulikuwa na nafasi ya vikao vya kila mtu kuenda. Sasa tuharakishwa, watu wanaitwa ni kama invitation ya harusi kwenda mbele ya ile kamati ya BBI. Wako na haraka, wanafunga, wako na haraka sana. Tuwapelekwa wapi bila kuelewa ni nini? Hiyo ndio maswali tunauliza. Na mambo pia ya Nairobi City County, tunakubali ya kwamba iko matatizo ambayo ni ya kipekee katika mji wa Nairobi, sababu governor ako kwa kesi na hana deputy. Lakini hata tukiwa na matatizo, katiba inasema nini wakati serikali kuu inakubaliana na serikali ya county ichukue mamlaka ya county? Lazima wenyeji wa county wajulishwe, kuwe na public participation, lazima assembly ipitishe. Katika Nairobi, assembly ilijifanya kupitisha, serikali ikiwa imeweka mkataba na kutangaza hadharani ya kwamba wamechukua mamlaka ya Nairobi. Hiyo ni kinyume ya katiba. Tunaambia serikali, fuata katiba. Kwa kila jambo fuata katiba. Mbona unatuambia turekebishe katiba kwa BBI, katiba yenyewe wewe huwezi fuata? Hiyo ndio swali kubwa. I think that's enough of the Swahili version. Yeah. Thank you very much. Hapana, hiyo lugha kila mtu hataelewa. Nipeleke kando kama hiyo ndio unaomba. Tusifanye lugha ya taifa, ni lugha moja sawa na Kenya, lakini sio lugha ya taifa. Asanteni sana, twamshukuru kwa kuja.